Yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another live stream. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get it cracking. All right. So shouts out to everybody that just came into the room. Make sure that you guys smash the like button. Also help your boy out by sharing the video to your social media. All right. Also, remember, always watch the video all the way through to the end. It'll take you to the premiere window of the next video, which is on Reality Check Virtual Radio Clips. All right. So if you're not subscribed to that channel, this video will take you right over there. Shout out to everybody that's here already. We got Mimi McCoy in the building, and we got Felicia Gray. Good to see both of you. All right. So what we're going to be talking about in this video is the Aries, Spears, and Tiffany Haddish incident. All right. Shout out to my man Torian Rain. What up with you, bro? Good to see you as always. So I don't know if you guys know about the issues going on with these two, but there was a skit that was done, allegedly a comedy sketch. And I don't know if anybody's seen it. I saw the video that Torian did. Shout out to Torian. Make sure you guys go over there and check out his video. The video is performing really well. He got like 45,000 views on that bad boy. So go contribute to that. Share it out on your social media and check out his commentary. If you want to put a link to your video that you did about this in the chat, Torian, that'd be great. So people can go check it out and also subscribe to your channel if they're not already. This is some weird stuff. I actually first got exposed to this. I was watching Jody's Corner. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to Jody's Corner because I'm jealous of that studio that he got, man. Man, I'm jealous of that studio, man. That studio is dope. If y'all ain't subscribed to Jody's Corner, man, check that brother out. You know what I'm saying? That studio that he got is sick. You know what I'm saying? But this happened like damn near immediately after Aries Spears had taken some heat for some comments that he made about Lizzo. You know what I'm saying? Lizzo just, Lizzo is Lizzo, man. You know what I'm saying? Like Lizzo is Lizzo. She be triggering some people, other people just be like, But I mean, like, he just kind of, said some stuff about her. And, as far as I'm concerned, it was like some low blow shit. I mean, we can see the woman, you know what I mean? Like, stop, you know what I'm saying? But like immediately after that, that's when all of this came out. And Jody's Corner actually played the entire skit on the live stream. Man, sometimes how like it's just like, ugh. Man, this is an awkward, bad joke. Like, I wouldn't have done that. That's how I felt about that shit when I saw it. Next thing I know, apparently they are in trouble with a lawsuit. So what we're going to do is we're going to check out the details and what's being said about that lawsuit and see exactly what's going on with that situation and watch it as it progresses. Shout out to everybody that's in here. We got Catsy in the building. We got my man Carlton Way. We got my man Tony D. What up with it, Tony? What's good with it, bro? We got AB Promotions, and we got Carla and Tarek. All right. So before I get started into checking out these articles, Tarek said that the sound is going in and out. If you guys can hear me, okay, give me a thumbs up. If you're having difficulty with the sound, give me a thumbs down. All right. So we got this article here from CNN, and it says Tiffany Haddish and Aries Spears accused of child sexual abuse in lawsuit. Their reps call it a shakedown. All right. So now I'm curious as to what you guys think. Do you guys think that this is just a shakedown, or do you guys think that there's something actually to this? Here it says comedians Tiffany Haddish and Aries Spears have been accused of having, quote, groomed and molested two then minor siblings years ago, according to a lawsuit filed in Los Angeles Superior Court. The complainants are referred to as Jane Doe and John Doe in the suit, which states their names are being withheld to protect their privacy. According to the complaint, a copy of which was obtained by CNN, Jane Doe and John Doe were 14 and 7, respectively, when they alleged that Haddish and Spears had them participate in a sexually suggestive video in separate incidents in 2013 and 2014. When reached for comment by CNN, attorneys for Haddish and Spears called the allegations bogus and a shakedown, respectively. All right. So, as of what you guys know about this currently, do you guys agree with these lawyers? Do you guys think that this is indeed a shakedown, or do you think that there could actually be something to this? Shout out to Sari Lynn. What up with it, Sari? Good to see you. Got my man Solo in the building. What up with it, Solo? Is this a shakedown, or is there something actually to this? I wouldn't have done that skit. That's all I'm gonna say. I wouldn't have done that. There's, in my opinion, there's certain lines that you just don't cross, and I wouldn't have crossed those lines. You know what I mean? Shout out to my man Nate G. What up with it, bro? I wouldn't have crossed those lines. I wouldn't have touched that kind of content with, somebody else's hands. I don't want no parts of that. Nothing. I don't want people thinking that I think that situation is funny. I don't ever want to be in a situation where somebody would construe anything that I'm doing as even suggestive of that kind of stuff. I don't know, man. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't. My man Torian says, no, this is not a shakedown, in my opinion. Yeah, I gotta go with what you're saying, bro. I agree. I think they might mess around, and if they don't get in trouble, they might settle. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says, according to the complaint, Haddish was a longtime family friend of the mother of the siblings who filed the lawsuit. Jane Doe was enrolled in a comedy camp in 2013, where Haddish was a guest speaker and told the then teenage girl she had a perfect role for her, the complaint states. The star allegedly drove the girl to a studio where she and Spears showed her a video of an older man and a college woman eating a sandwich simultaneously from either end while moaning and making sexual noises. They both ate the sandwich in a manner that simulated the act of fellatio. Spears then told plaintiff Jane Doe that he wanted her to mimic what she had seen on the screen, including the noises precisely like what she heard throughout the video, the suit states. Plaintiff Jane Doe, nervous and disgusted, didn't say anything until Haddish came into the room next to her and sat down. Haddish verbally explained what was expected of plaintiff Jane Doe and then showed plaintiff Jane Doe how to give fellatio, including movements, noises, moaning, and groaning. Now here's my thing, right? Automatically off the rip, if this is being reported accurately, this Jane Doe being 14 years old, this was a completely inappropriate role or inappropriate anything to try to have her involved in. So if everything is exactly as it's being reported now, it's not to me that's totally inappropriate. So especially, I mean, she's a minor, you know what I'm saying? And like, my thing is, we need to find out exactly what the parent was aware of. If the parent was aware of this, I'm going to be side-eyeing the parents. If they did this behind the parents' back, they're going to have some problems. You know what I'm saying? They're going to have some big problems. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Cindy. What up with it, Cindy? We got RG Titan in the building, and we got Shakiri in the building. What up with it? Good to see y'all. And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys have not smashed that like button, please make sure you guys take a moment, smash the like button. Also, if you're not subscribed to the backup channels, make sure that you take a moment and subscribe to the backup channels as well. All right. So now here it says, physically, emotionally, and mentally uncomfortable, plaintiff Jane Doe mimicked the acts that Haddish and Spears wanted her to do so she could go home, the complaint continues. Now, this little part right here is extremely problematic, because why would she have to do this in order to go home? Torian said, according to her mother, she thought it was going to be a skit for Nickelodeon. Yeah, and I'm assuming if she thought it was going to be a skit for Nickelodeon, she probably was not assuming that all of this would be going on. You know what I'm saying? She probably wasn't assuming the whole sandwich and fellatio and all of that craziness was going to be going on. She probably thought it was going to be something silly, like some Keenan and Kyle type, stuff, comedy. You know what I mean? I don't think she was expecting soft porn. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says Haddish allegedly then paid her $100 and sent her home, according to the complaint. John Doe alleges that in the summer 2014, Haddish offered to book, arrange, and film Mr. Doe content for a Nickelodeon sizzle reel at the home of Spears. Haddish claimed the reel would be used to book Mr. Doe on Nickelodeon. Upon information and belief, Haddish and Spears removed the 7-year-old victim from his sister and placed him upstairs in a bedroom, stripped the child down to his underwear, according to the suit. The video was entitled Through a P-Word's Eyes and shows Spears lusting over the 7-year-old child and rubbing his back. Again, in my opinion, just not tasteful. Not something that you would catch me doing. Shout out to my man Jared Allen. What up with it, bro? This sounds like some Harvey Weinstein, Disney World type nightmarish stuff you don't want to get your kids involved in. You know what I'm saying? Now, again, remember, that's what it sounds like. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are just reports and, we'll never know. But at the same time, if you've seen that skit that the boy was involved in, it's disgusting. In my opinion, there's no justifying it. You know what I mean? Like, again, like that's not comedy, in my opinion. Haddish was present during the filming of the entire video, the complaint states. Photos allegedly from the video shoot are included in the complaint. An attorney for Haddish said in a statement to CNN that the plaintiff's mother has been trying to assert these bogus claims against Miss Haddish for several years. Now, my thing is, if she's been asserting these claims against Miss Haddish for several years, that doesn't take away from the validity of them. That, in my opinion, tells me that there's probably something to this. Do you guys agree with that? If you guys agree with me, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. The fact that this is an ongoing thing and she has been making these accusations and been continuing on with them, that tells me that there could be something to this. You know what I mean? Shout out to my man JB Easy. What up with it, bro? That tells me that there could be something to this. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says every attorney who has initially taken on her case, and there were several, ultimately dropped the matter once it became clear that the claims were meritless and Miss Haddish would not be shaken down, the statement read, adding that the mother has her adult daughter representing herself in this lawsuit. The two of them will together face the consequences of pursuing this frivolous action. Now, at the same time, as many times as they've dropped this, they haven't faced any consequences either and are still continuing to go after them. So I think that there could be something to this. And I got to agree with my man Nate. This is foul on every level. You know what I'm saying? The mother of the plaintiffs is named in the statement. CNN is not including her name in our reporting to protect the privacy of her then minor children. Jane Doe is now 22 and the legal guardian of John Doe, now 15, according to the complaint. He isn't going to fall for any shakedown, Deborah Opie, an attorney for Spears, said in a statement to CNN. Now, here's my question. All right, this is my question. If they have an issue with Tiffany Haddish, it seems like the lawsuit mainly gives more details of what went on with Aries Spears. And in my opinion, if this was illegitimate, if it was just a beef that this plaintiff's parents had with Tiffany Haddish, if it was a personal beef or something like that, they would probably not really be saying too much about Aries Spears. So to me, everything that they've said so far, it kind of indicates to me again that there could be something to this. You know what I'm saying? So now Jay says that, yeah, Tiffany just got dragged into this. This was a beef between Aries Spears and Fat Lizard Lizzo. What do you guys think? You guys agree with Jay or do you guys disagree? I think that this could possibly have something to do with Lizzo, but I don't know, man. Like I don't know. I'd be interested because my thing is how would how would Lizzo have pulled the strings on this? You know what I'm saying? Or how would she I don't know, like how would she have known about it? You know what I mean? So now here's another article. This one is from a couple days ago. This is from September 5th. And it says Tiffany Haddish speaks out on child sex abuse suit. All right. So now I just want to get the climate in the chat. What are you guys thinking about this? Do you guys think that there's something to this, or do you think that it's just related to the beef between Aries Spears and Lizzo? Nate says it came to light because of the Lizzo beef. Tony says can't call it. Spears was talking about Lizzo, then perhaps a fan looked into it. Yeah, I mean, all of that could be true. All of that could be true. My thing is that if this is out, if this has been out there for this long, why haven't we really heard about it? This is the first time that I've actually heard about this. But I know Aries Spears has had some controversies, you know, surrounding him before. But again, like when you're in Hollywood, controversy is currency. You know what I'm saying? Controversy, it gets you publicity, and controversy is something that people use as a weapon against you in quote certain, you know, negotiation situations, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? We got Volvo 2 Love in the building. What up with it, bro? So now here it says Tiffany Haddish says she deeply regrets performing a skit years ago that led to her and fellow comedic actor Aries Spears being accused of child sex abuse. I know people have a bunch of questions. I get it. Haddish wrote in a statement posted on her verified Instagram account on Monday. I'm right there with you, she continued. Unfortunately, because there's an ongoing legal case, there's very little that I can say right now. Haddish and Spears have been accused of having groomed and molested two then minor siblings, according to a lawsuit filed in Los Angeles Superior Court last week. Now, here's my thing. This is what I find interesting about it. It seems like basically that the content of the skits, it seems like that is what is being looked at as far as the molestation and the grooming. Now, here's my question. Again, if you ask me, the entire thing is inappropriate. I would have to know if the mother knew exactly what was going on. And my question for you all, this is my question for everybody in here. Let's just take away from the fact that there was the Lizzo beef. All right. So let's not look at that. If you took your child to vacation Bible school or you took your child to regular school and your child came home that day and said that they were involved in a school activity that was exactly like the skits that Aries Spears and Tiffany Haddish were involved in with them, would that be something that you would be okay with? Or would you go to the school, to the principal's office or the Board of Education and complain about it? And that's what I keep asking, Jay. Did the parents know? But the thing is that according to this lawsuit, they were at some kind of comedy camp. So I'm assuming this was some kind of organized youth activity. And another thing that I'm curious about is I wonder if there was anybody else involved in this, if they have any testimony about anything odd going on with their kids. That's what I'm curious about. What do you guys think? Yeah, I agree, Carlton. A father would have handled this in a more aggressive manner. If you guys agree with Carlton, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. So now here it says Jane Doe and John Doe, their names withheld to protect their privacy, were 14 and 7 respectively when they alleged Haddish and Spears had them participate in sexually suggestive videos in separate incidents in 2013 and 2014, according to the complaint, a copy of which was obtained by CNN. He isn't going to fall for any shakedown. So this is basically the same article as what it was saying before. They got these statements from the attorney. So now down here, though, it says, upon information and belief, Haddish and Spears removed the 7-year-old victim from his sister, placed him upstairs. Yeah, so this is basically all the same stuff. It just had a different headline and a different picture and stuff like that. So now here, I want to show you guys this right here. There's this video from Houston 26, and I want to check this out and see what is in this. So give me 1 second here. While that's, because I'm waiting for an ad to play on here. While this is playing, there's an article that came out from TMZ, and it has what Aries Spears has said, because it says that Aries Spears has broken his silence as well. Did you guys see? I think he came out with a video that he posted on IG or something like that. Did you guys happen to see that video? Aries Spears posted a video and he seems upset. He said that he's not running from the situation. He wants to talk about it, but he hasn't really been able to talk about it. Did you guys see that? So now this is the article from TMZ, and it says Aries Spears breaks silence on molestation lawsuit with Tiffany Haddish. We won't be shaken down. So now again, all right, so let's just assume that they didn't do anything wrong. Let's assume that they're actually telling the truth. Do you think that if this is a shakedown, that this has happened to other people in Hollywood? Now, see, here's my thing. I would not have done a skit like that borderlined on that kind of controversial, where that could come back and be used on me in some kind of shakedown. Because I do think that there are elements of shakedown type activity and extortion type activity that go down. And, you know, a lot of the Hollywood directors, they put people in these nasty, degenerate, deviant kind of situations, and then they turn around and use that as currency to manipulate them, to get them to do certain roles or to get them to do certain things and rituals. You know what I'm saying? But again, this isn't a situation that I would have had any proximity to. They got to use better discernment, if you ask me. If you guys agree with that, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. And again, like, my thing is, as far as the mother goes, according to that article from CNN, the claim was that they were in a comedy camp. Now, here's my thing. If they were in a comedy camp, it seemed like the 14-year-old went to the comedy camp first, right? Now, if the 14-year-old was made to eat a sandwich and make these kind of noises, I'm sure she told her mother or she told somebody. After that came out, then why would you go and send your son to the same kind of situation? You know what I mean? Somebody got to ask that too. Like, everybody in this situation, I don't think anybody is using the best judgment. You know what I'm saying? And now this is a whole big mess, a whole big public mess of degeneracy. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says Aries Spears is speaking out for the first time publicly after he and Tiffany Haddish were sued for grooming and molesting 2 children during an old skit they performed. calling the whole thing a shakedown. So what they're saying is that this was during a skit that they performed, that they groomed and molested these 2 children. But if you pay very close attention across these articles, they keep changing the story, because the one that we read from CNN said that it was on 2 separate incidents. Now this one is saying that it was done to both children during the same skit. Yeah, yeah, there's that, Carlton. Facts. So my thing is that even across the media, you're still not getting any consistency. And I'm not trying to be funny, but like I said, you got this Spearsberg person. You got to, Spears and Steinberg. I don't know. I don't know, man. You got to be careful of those bergs. Got to be careful of those bergs that you visit. You know what I'm saying? Just saying. In a preview for his podcast, Spears and Steinberg, Aries admits there's not a whole lot he can say given the pending lawsuit, but he does take the time to thank his listeners and fans for all their support over last week. All right, so let's watch this.
How's your week?
Surprisingly, mine's been going pretty well. And
listen, obviously for legal reasons, I really can't talk about anything at this time. But I just more or less want to say to all the loyal listeners, thank you guys for your support and for your love. Listen, this is an extortion case. This is a shakedown. We won't be shaken down.
Spears and Steinberg. You know what the fuck is Aries and Aries.
Okay, do you know that? Okay, this is weird. What is the point of this Spears and Steinberg podcast? Do you see the Steinberg guy is just creepy and disturbing in this picture? You know what I'm saying? And he's got his little Masonic medallion that I don't really appreciate. You know what I'm saying? What is this? What's the DeAndre, my man DeAndre, yes. If you guys agree with DeAndre, give me a thumbs up. Why are they always in proximity of black people in Hollywood or hip hop? That particular last name that DeAndre is saying. Anytime that comes around, there's always some manipulated information that starts coming out and asking weird questions, and there's some sexual deviancy involved. Does anybody notice that? Always. Just pay attention to that. Like I said, you know what I'm saying? There's Harvey Weinstein, you know what I'm saying? Just, and there's always some kind of weirdness and degeneracy. You know what I'm saying? What is the purpose of this? How did Spears and Steinberg meet? Who is Steinberg? You guys, what's up with Hot 97 and shit like that? What's that guy's name on Hot 97? I mean, so you know what I'm saying? You sit around and call black people Schwarzes all the damn time, but then all of a sudden, somehow you're just spotted here and there, you know what I'm saying? DJ Vlad and shit like that. You know what I mean? Man, just pay close attention and shit, man. Yeah. That's his name. I mean, how did you get there? You know what I'm saying? Somebody just dropped you off in Harlem and shit, or you know what I'm saying? You got the one black friend, and somehow you decided to fund all of this with your legacy lawyer money. And you know what I mean? What the fuck is this? You know what I'm saying? I don't know what to say, but I do know what to say, and I'm trying to say what I need to say without saying what I need to say, because those kind of people have a magical finger where social media shit just disappears if you don't just constantly give them props for the things that they've gone through in the world. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is, this right here is a reason why people need to have their own media. You know what I'm saying? Not only whether it's hip hop media, you know what I'm saying? black media or whatever. Have your own media. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't need to partner up with people that run the financial system, you know what I'm saying, and will manipulate you and use every single possible thing that they can to try to completely control everything. You know what I'm saying? So I'm curious if on this podcast they'll ever interview some Hebrew Israelites. I'd be interested to see how that will go. But anyway, it says, when he then gets more serious, calling the lawsuit an extortion case and a shakedown, saying we won't be shaken down. You know, I wonder if they'll have Farrakhan on there too. I'd be interested to see how that podcast will go. You know what I'm saying? Spears' comments come just a couple days after Tiffany Haddish posted about the situation on Instagram, saying, but clearly, while this sketch was intended to be comedic. Now, here's my question. I wonder if somebody that has a name similar to his podcast partner is the one that wrote the sketch. I wouldn't be surprised. Shout out to my man, Jay Bird. What up with it? I wonder if somebody that has the same last name or similar last name to his podcast partner, I wonder if somebody like that wrote the sketch, because sometimes, people like that sometimes have a really disgusting, degenerate sense of humor, if you want to even call it humor, because we did the video on C19 Report when we talked about what was going on in those Brooklyn hospitals. You could, in some cases, call it cultural. You could. So you got to ask that question as well. But what you won't see is TMZ asking that question. Probably because one of this guy's cousins is a shareholder in TMZ. Probably because a lot of these people are Democratic donors for super PACs. Probably. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to this, why is it that these kind of people always are the communication and money vehicle? See, what's going to happen is we're going to own BET, and we're going to program the message of BET that gets delivered to people like you, Aries Spears. And you, Aries Spears, are going to be a puppet that sits there. And you'll just be the legitimizing face while we control the message. Of course, we'll control the M&Ms. You know, like the candy M&Ms, short, fat, and round, melt in your mouth, not in your hand. We'll control the M&M. We'll control the message and the money. No pun intended, but just food for thought. So now here it says, but both comedians were sued by a male and female plaintiff who claimed that they were groomed and convinced to take part in explicit skits. The girl claims that she was just 14 at the time, and the boy was 7. The skit, look at this. I mean, why would you name a skit this? Are you guys able to see this? Through a pea's eyes. I mean, that's just not even funny to me. Like, that's just something that you don't joke around with. You know what I mean? I mean, who cares what goes on through one of those kind of people's minds? Those kind of people are degenerate and need to be in jail and are disgusting and are a threat to everybody's children. So what up with it, Vega? So why would you name a skit? Like, there's nothing funny about that. Like, in my opinion, like, there's some things that you just can't lighten the mood about, and that's one of them, for me at least. You know what I'm saying? Look at this. The skit through a pea's eyes with the young boy included Spears applying massage oil to him, as well as making sexually suggestive motions with toys. You know what I'm saying? So now this boy, like, again, like, and I agree with Jay, and I agree with everybody who's mentioned the mother. Like, the mother does need to be questioned about this. I need to know if the mother knew exactly what was going on. You know what I'm saying? That's what I need to know. Tiffany's attorney, Andrew Bretler, has echoed Spears' sentiments, telling us plaintiff's mother Teresa Morris has been trying to assert these bogus claims against Haddish for several years. So again, you know, we hear this whole thing about the several years. But now, again, my question is, was the mother tricked? Or did the mother know exactly what time it was and she just allowed it? What do you guys think? And the father too. Whoever the parents are that are involved, you know what I'm saying? Like, they have some questions that they need to be answering too. You know what I'm saying? They have some questions, in my opinion, that they need to be answering too. So let's check this out real quick.
And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. Very shocking allegations of child abuse against Tiffany Haddish and Aries Spears. A new lawsuit against the comedians have accused the comedians of sexually abusing two child actors during the filming of a skit. Haddish hasn't spoken out about the allegations, but her lawyer is denying all charges and calling the allegations bogus. BackstageOil.com's Dave Morales says he was shocked to hear the news.
Dave Morales is here. Dave, always good to see you. Some craziness going on with Tiffany Haddish and Aries Spears. And it's like, I can't even wrap my mind around this lawsuit that accused them of abusing children.
Okay. I don't know Aries. Aries, I've never really spent a lot of time with him, but of course you know this. We've run many interviews with Tiffany Haddish on The Factor. I've talked with Tiffany. I just talked to her, matter of fact, a couple of months ago for her latest project. You know, what's interesting is about the story is that the Funny or Die website actually posted a video and then they pulled it down. Well, they didn't post it. It was a user post.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I bring that up, Isaiah, is because obviously none of you or I cannot comment because we weren't there. We had nothing to do with this. But the fact that a video did post on that website from somebody means that it exists. That's
now,
not
the video showed what, Dave?
Well, it showed, improper behavior. Tiffany and Aries were doing a comedy sketch with minors, and it involved what the plaintiffs are saying, lewd activities. And then
he said what the plaintiffs are saying is lewd activities. How many people in here actually saw the video? Now, this is a question for people that saw the video. If you saw that video, would you consider what was going on it lewd activity? If you would, give me a thumbs up. And real quick, speaking of thumbs up, if everybody could take a moment and smash that like button, that would be great. Also, make sure that you guys share the video out. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and make sure you hit that bell icon twice so that you get notified every time we drop a video or do a live stream.
So they haven't even named them. It's Jane and John Doe are the plaintiffs. But the mom, and there's drama there because the mom brought the case. But now the daughter, who is representing herself in the lawsuit, and you've heard that expression, you know, what is it? The worst client the attorney have is when you represent yourself. You know the expression. Yeah. And so there's some funny, interesting stuff on the other side as well.
So now here's my question. The daughter, the oldest, is representing herself. So it's not the mother that's bringing the suit. So my thing is, do you think that the mother has influenced the daughter to continue going after this? Like, there's just a lot to this, and I would like to have more detail. I'm not trying to be funny, but it seems to me that there is more detail and more information out there that is not being disclosed in order for the public to have this kind of conversation and drag this thing on a lot longer than it needs to be. Because there's some very simple questions that can be asked that can wrap this up. And all of the media is talking around all of those things for some reason. And the very basic questions that we're asking are not things that wouldn't be able to be discussed because there's a lawsuit going on. I mean, these are basic questions. Like, I mean, let's see how many people were at this alleged comedy camp. Now, most of the rest of the articles are not even saying that there was a comedy camp. And then we have the media giving inconsistent reports on it. So what is it that's actually going on? And again, why is there no standard of consistency with the media reporting? Yeah, the only thing weird was the kid. The whole thing is just weird to me. It's just not something that I would do. The oil and just like I said, like some people have, their things that they think are funny. You know what I mean? And they, you know, that's just that kind of comedy is not funny to me. But that's my personal thing. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. Um, I didn't like that skit. I didn't watch the whole thing. I saw I saw up until I couldn't take looking at it anymore because I was getting irritated and disgusted, I should say. By the way, shout out to Mr. Mackable. What up with it, bro? And I agree 110%. At the end of the day, Aries and Tiffany made a choice to even engage with this so-called skit. And since they made that choice and now they're dealing with the potential consequences, you gotta ask yourself that question. Is the world correct? You know what I mean?
Oh, but what they're alleging is that when these children were young, they were in a comedy sketch that Aries and Tiffany produced, and it involved bad stuff. And so, we'll see what happens. But I think the interesting thing, like I mentioned a second ago, Isaiah, is the fact that there is a video that does exist. Now, whether Tiffany and Aries had anything to do with it, that's what they're going to have. The plaintiff's going to have to prove in order to be successful with their lawsuit. Look, Tiffany is a last person. And again, I have spent a lot of time with her. I don't call her every week and stuff like that, but she knows me. I know her. And, it's like I said about Will Smith, I would be shocked. And I was shocked what happened, what Will did, because I've known him for a while. But, you never know. But again, innocent until proven guilty. And we'll see if there are any merits to that lawsuit. I find it hard to believe.
Weird, crazy. Now, Dave, this is crazy. Houston has been voted the rudest city in.
So there's that. I don't think they're going to be saying too much more about it. So now a statement came out from the accuser, and the accuser is demanding the DA to arrest Tiffany Haddish and Aries Spears amid the molestation lawsuit. Now, if this is a civil lawsuit, they can't arrest anybody based on a civil lawsuit. But if there's criminal charges involved, they would have to investigate and ask some questions and different things like that. But I mean, this seems like this is going to be a serious ongoing thing here. So we'll see what ends up happening. Hold on, I'm going to play this real quick.
Haddish's lawyer has responded to a lawsuit against the actress in which she's accused of molestation. In a complaint filed Tuesday in the California Superior Court for Los Angeles County, a woman identified as Jane Doe sued Haddish and comedian Aries Spears on behalf of a minor identified as John Doe. Haddish's lawyer tells People in a statement that the plaintiff's mother has been trying to assert these bogus claims against Ms. Haddish for several years. The attorney adds that now the mother has her adult daughter representing herself in this lawsuit, and adds, quote, "The two of them will together face the consequences of pursuing this frivolous action." Spears' lawyer also tells People in a statement that he, quote, "isn't going to fall for any shakedown." In court documents obtained by People, Jane alleges that Haddish groomed the plaintiffs, leaving them, quote, "traumatized for life." The plaintiff claims that Haddish was a longtime family friend, and that in 2013, when Jane Doe was 14, Haddish took her to the taping of a sexually suggestive Subway's commercial that Haddish allegedly said would help Jane Doe get on television and would be included in the teenager's film reel. During the taping, Haddish allegedly instructed Jane Doe on how to perform inappropriate sexual acts after watching an older man and woman in a video.
Now, here's my question, and I got to ask this. Now, how many people in here are parents? If there's anybody in here that's a parent, give me a thumbs up. Now, my question is, as a parent, would you have instructed your kid competently to say, hey, there's certain things that if a stranger tries to have you do, you don't do them. If a stranger tries to, tell you to do certain things, you need to get away and call somebody as soon as possible. You need to get in touch with me. You need to call the police. You need to do whatever it is that you need to do to get yourself out of that situation. And that includes somebody making you sexually uncomfortable. Now, I hate to ask this question, right? But I got to ask two questions. The first question that I got to ask is, was this girl at 14 active in that way where she was comfortable doing that without any afterthought? Or had the parents just not trained her properly on how to deal with strangers? Because, if somebody happened to ask one of my children about that kind of situation, it's not going to go down, and I'm going to find out about it immediately, and there's going to be some problems. So what I'm trying to figure out is, why did the little girl go through with it? Why didn't she know to not do that? Does that make is that a fair question for me to ask? You know what I mean? I think that's a fair question to ask. What has the parent taught the child? Certain things that you just don't do. Certain situations, you don't continue. At that point, when it got into that realm of situation, it's time to go. Call me to come pick you up. Why was that not the immediate go-to? What do you guys think? Is that a fair question for me to ask? And how do you guys feel about that question? Let me know what you guys think.
Per the filing, John Doe was allegedly molested by Spears in 2014 after Haddish told him he would be taping a reel for Nickelodeon at Spears' home. While there, Haddish allegedly told Jane Doe that she needed John Doe alone and took him to a room where Spears began molesting the then 7-year-old on film. Court documents claim that Haddish witnessed the alleged incident and aided, abetted, and watched Spears sexually molest a child. John Doe says in a statement that Spears and Haddish gave him a drink that made him sleepy and, quote, happy face candy. He also claims that Haddish paid the siblings $100. According to the lawsuit, the alleged footage was shared on Funny or Die in 2014 before it was pulled last May. It also states that Jane Doe is 22 years of age now and has never dated, having suffered immense damage since the alleged encounters. It adds that John Doe now has a social disorder, depression, and anxiety, stating that he stays in his room at home and places Band-Aids over the cameras on his electronics for fear of being watched or recorded.
Wow. I wonder if they have a psychologist. Yeah, no, I agree. Because again, like I would have to question the activity, Nate. And that's why I was asking that. You know what I'm saying? You got to question that activity. But I wonder if they have a psychologist's record of all of these psychological disturbances that these kids have. That
Haddish and Spears are both being sued for intentional infliction of emotional distress, gross negligence, sexual battery, sexual harassment, and sexual abuse of a minor. Haddish is also sued for negligent supervision, failure to warn, breach of fiduciary duty, and constructive fraud.
Man, that's wild. That's wild. And real quick, shout out to my man Attend. Yes, please do. If you guys haven't liked the video, please make sure that you guys smash the like button. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit the bell. And also make sure that you guys check out the backup channels. So this is a bad, nasty situation. This is a bad, nasty situation, in my opinion, for everybody that's involved. You know what I'm saying? This is an article from People, and it says accuser urges DA to immediately arrest Tiffany Haddish and Aries Spears amid molestation lawsuit. Jane Doe asked the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office in a letter on Monday to end the stream of depravity committed by Tiffany Haddish and comedian Aries Spears. The woman accusing Tiffany Haddish and Aries Spears of child sexual abuse is asking for their immediate arrest in a new letter to the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office. In a letter obtained by People that's dated Monday, the anonymous plaintiff, going by Jane Doe, asked Los Angeles County District Attorney George Gaskin to immediately arrest and prosecute Haddish, who is 42, and Spears, who is 47, for the sexual assault and molestation of my brother and me. in her lawsuit, which was filed last week, the now 22-year-old woman claims that she and her younger brother, who was 7 at the time of the alleged abuse in 2014, were groomed and filmed doing sexually explicit acts under the guise of a comedy sketch about the P word while unsupervised by a guardian. Now, here is my question for you all. I want to know what you guys think. My question for you all is, if you have seen this comedy skit, from what you saw, was that molestation? Was that inappropriate? Is that something that if you walked in on your child, that being done to your child, you would get your child out of that situation, probably defend the child from that individual doing it, and then file a charge? Would any of you all be okay with that, as this was just an act? This is just something that's being done in front of the camera. I don't care if that's what it's being called. You're not doing that with my kid. It's a bad idea. Figure out something else. So my thing is, now they have that on camera. In my opinion, now what ends up happening is, if this goes to court or if this goes to trial, now you have the public looking at this, and it doesn't matter if it's an act or not. What people are going to look at, they're going to say, is what went on in this skit beyond the skit? Is this molestation? Regardless of if I want to call it a skit or not, was the content of the skit something that should have ever taken place to begin with anyway? And if it's not something that should have ever taken place anyway, and everybody says this is inappropriate, if everybody says that it's inappropriate, then what can be said is that molestation took place on camera. Now, that's what I'm asking you guys. Everybody that's in here, was what we watched molestation on the camera? Because my question is, have you guys ever seen a TV show rated R, PG-13, that has had an interaction between an adult and a child like that in any TV show, video, or movie that you can think of? Has there ever been a child-adult interaction like that? Comedy, movie, YouTube content, social media, TikTok. Have you ever seen anything like that? So now my question is, why haven't we seen anything like that? So since nobody has ever seen anything like that, right? Now, the thing is that as far as the 13 Reasons, Jay, I've never seen that movie. Was that between adults, or was that you minors, or what was it? Iron Will. Shout out to my man Iron Will. He said with Kevin Spacey, go figure. But have you ever seen a scene with an adult and a child involved in like, I guess, intimate interaction, with the age spread from the child to the adult in that fashion? Is that something that's popularized? Like, is that something that they will play on TV at 5:00 p.m.? So, like, my thing is that this kind of sets a precedent, because we don't really see stuff like this on TV all the time. We don't see this. Like, a lot of the degeneracy that you see from Disney and stuff like that, it's more subliminal. This is out in the open. So my thing is, say for instance, somebody got punched in the face on camera, right? And we say, well, this was an act, but they still sustained an injury, right? Like, they got punched in the face, but it was okay because it was authorized. But is it okay? So, like, we're seeing this skit, and my question is what went on that we saw okay? And how many other times have we seen that particular thing happen, and what happened to the people involved in what we saw? So somebody in the comment section, give me a scenario that's similar to what took place between Aries Spears and the 7-year-old, and what was the outcome of it? So now I gotta agree with Nate. I've not, me personally, I've not seen anything like that. And I think that if we had seen something like that, there would be tons of content all over the place about it because people would be debating it. What was that one movie called that came out on YouTube? It was kind of weird and people had a lot of, or not YouTube, it came out on Netflix a while ago. It was about some young girl, you know what I'm saying? So you guys remember that? I can't remember what it was called. Everybody was having a debate about it. Now, that was some borderline stuff, right? Cuties, that's it. Yeah, cuties. Cuties. Now, that was all over the internet. Everybody was doing reaction videos to that because it was questionable things that went on that movie, right? So if there was a situation like this, people would be talking about it because every time something like that would happen, it would be a spark for debate. So aside from cuties, what was the difference? So my question is, what is the precedent that we measure this against? It doesn't matter if this was authorized or not. Again, I got to go with what my man Torian says. Tiffany Haddish and Aries Spears chose wrong, and they opened themselves up for liability by engaging in a questionable comedy skit that involved questionable behavior with a minor on camera, period. So as a result of that choice, what comes out of it is now up to public interpretation. And that's just the way that the cookie is going to crumble. They could have avoided all of this by just not being involved in that situation. Shout out to my man Maximo. What up with it, bro? Exactly. And that's what happens when you deal with people that have the last names of his podcast partner. They find information about you. They try to get degenerate information about you, or they try to place you in a degenerate situation or put you in a degenerate situation or surround you with degeneracy and then use that to manipulate your career and your actions, or to silence you if they need you to be silenced, which is one of the reasons why I work alone. I would never deal with a network. You know what I mean? I would.
Queen Elizabeth's health is causing concern for her doctors. This, according to a statement from Buckingham Palace on Thursday.
Nobody cares. Sorry. Maybe now you can return some of that merchandise. You know what I mean? Yeah. Facts. Super facts. If you guys agree with Torian, give me a thumbs up all the time. All the time. Which is interesting because let's not get it twisted. Schwartz is German for black. I don't recall anybody speaking German in the Bible, but again, that's just my recollection. I'm not a Bible scholar. Maybe next time we do Reality Check Virtual Radio, Izzy can verify that. Because remember, he's the resident religion expert. Shout out to my man Bronze of God. What up with it? So now here it says Haddish, and we got Tia in the building. Shout out to Tia. What up with it, Tia? Haddish and Spears are being sued for intentional infliction of emotional distress, gross negligence, sexual battery, sexual harassment, sexual abuse of a minor. Now, depending on the jury or depending on the judge, in my opinion, the only one that if they can prove. Now, see, here's my thing, right? How would this work? I got to ask this question. Who, and pay very close attention to this, guys. Now, that skit, it actually came out, right? Like it was published. It came out on something. Shout out to my man, Crypto Key, right? What is the company that was planning on publishing the script? What company was responsible for that playwright? Who owns the right to the playwright? You know what I'm saying? Is this a creation of Tiffany Haddish and Aries Spears, or did a Hollywood company write this skit, cast Tiffany and Aries, and then have them cast the extra? And why aren't we hearing about that? Don't Hollywood companies usually have those scripts? Don't they have what's called a playwright? Well, if somebody was the playwright, and didn't they run this through their legal department? And the legal department, nah, this is risk averse. You know what I'm saying? Like, too many things. Don't these $1 million Hollywood companies have quality control where they assess a situation and say, you know what, this could put you in some kind of lawsuit risk? Why did that not happen? Who's responsible for writing the script? The casting couch wrote those scripts. I agree, Torian. So now here's the question. Why do we not know who the casting couch is? Remember, the actors just act. They're just doing what they're told. So who is doing the telling? Because in my opinion, they would be an accessory before or after the fact. But all of a sudden, we're just not even talking about that. The media is not even directing any questions about that. The media is not asking any questions about that. You know what I mean? Just saying. My man Torian says, watch this movie on Netflix called Hollywood. They touch on the casting couch. So if you guys check out that movie on Netflix called Hollywood, they touch on the casting couch. You know what I'm saying? Hope somebody washed it down with bleach wipes. You know what I'm saying? Now, here's my question. If this is legitimate media, why isn't the media asking that question? Why isn't anybody asking that question? Who did it? Who wrote the script? Where is the script? Is this an original work of Tiffany Haddish and Aries Spears, or did a company write it? And if a company wrote it, why is the company not under any scrutiny? And why do we not know what production studio it came from? And also, who's in charge of the comedy camp? My man Crypto says, if you watch the whole skit, Rizza Islam said, if you watch the whole skit, at the end, it's a PSA. Crazy. So now here it says Haddish is also sued for negligence, supervision failure to warn, breach of fiduciary duty, and constructive fraud. Jane Doe alleged in her letter to the DA that her mom had filed a police report back in January of 2020 in Las Vegas about Haddish and Spears, and it was shifted to the Los Angeles Police Department. She alleged that her complaint was treated as not a priority, and investigators had not taken these allegations seriously. This matter's breadth and complexity require your jurisdictional powers and resources to tackle and end the stream of depravity committed by Haddish and Spears. My brother and I are prepared to speak with investigators and prosecutors from your office and provide you with irrefutable evidence that substantiates our allegations, Jane Doe wrote to the DA. So now here it says, in a Tuesday statement, a spokesperson for the DA's office said, "We are aware of the news reports that a letter was sent to the Los Angeles District Attorney's Office regarding the alleged sexually exploitive conduct of Tiffany Haddish and Aries Spears. Unfortunately, we have not yet received the letter. We are connecting with law enforcement partners to determine whether there is an open investigation into the matter. We take these allegations very seriously, and the matter will receive a thorough review if and when it's presented to us," the statement concluded. Attorneys for Haddish did not immediately respond to people's request for comment. A rep for Spears referred to his lawyer's previous statement. He isn't going to fall for any shakedown. In a statement on Instagram Monday morning, Haddish addressed the allegations, saying, "I know people have a bunch of questions. I get it. I'm right there with you. Unfortunately, there is an ongoing legal case, and there's very little that I can say right now." But she continued, "Clearly, while this sketch was intended to be comedic, it wasn't funny at all, and I deeply regret having agreed to act in it." Now, who did she make that agreement with? Who did she make that agreement with, guys? That's my question. Who did she? That means that this was presented to her and she decided to make an agreement to do something. Okay. Who did she agree with? Because I don't think that it was Aries Spears that wrote it. So who did she make that agreement with? Does that make any sense? And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys have not smashed the like button, please make sure that you smash the like button. Also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and make sure that you hit the bell icon twice. Who did she make the agreement with? And I agree, DeAndre, they knew it was bogus, but they did it anyway. If you guys agree with RG Titan 901, give me a thumbs up in the comment section. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. I really look forward to being able to share a lot more about this situation as soon as I can. Haddish's lawyer said last week in a statement about the lawsuit that the plaintiff's mother has been trying to assert these bogus claims against Ms. Haddish for several years. Every attorney who has initially taken on her case, and there were several, ultimately dropped the matter once it became clear that the claims were meritless and Ms. Haddish would not be shaken down, added the attorney. Now, the mother has her adult daughter representing herself in the lawsuit. The two of them together will face the consequence of pursuing this frivolous action. Now, here's my question. What does that mean? Because I'm not going to be funny, but like that kind of sounds like a threat. What is the consequence going to be? I mean, is this a frivolous action? That's the question. So I don't know. But I'll tell you one thing, it doesn't look good. I can definitely tell you that. You know what I'm saying? But I will definitely be keeping an eye on this. I'll do some updates if I hear about some good content somewhere, or some some updates or whatever. I'll post them. If you guys see anything, you guys know how to get at me. Make sure that you guys follow me on my other social media. The best way to get a message to me is by using Patreon, sending a message directly. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm interested to see what happens with this. Honestly, I think this is one of those things that just might magically disappear and people won't even notice that it disappeared. That's what I think. You know what I'm saying? That's what I think. So, ladies and gentlemen, 2:30 p.m. Eastern time. If you're not subscribed to Just Talking with TD and Rob, you might want to do that because you know you got to catch those things live if you're not a member of TD's Patreon. And I got some other streams popping off. We got Crimecast later on, and we got stuff going on all throughout the day and night. So if you're not subscribed to all the channels, make sure that you do it. All right. I appreciate everybody that is in here that came for the stream. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will catch you all on the next video. All right. Peace.